أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I had a question from Christina, and I had told her that there was a mating of religions in this society, as far as the plan or the goal when this place, meaning the U.S. of A., was the idea came up to establish a place such as this. And I told her that the Christian religion and the Islamic religion were one of the agents that was used to build such a place, such as the current United States of America. But we know that in the beginning, when they first sent the ships over here, and this place was barren, like a forest, very uncultivated place, and what they did to gain control of the land from the Indians, and also how they brought over the free labor from Africa. And this place was much, much, much different from the way it is today. But she asked me about the two religions and how they're used to do such a thing. Being that nowadays, at least in the general public, or what you see on TV, or what you're given the impression of, is given that the two religions, Islam, Al-Islam, and Christianity, are at odds with each other. As a matter of fact, if you watch TV enough, you think Islam. You think that Al-Islam is an adversary to all other religions, But that's how they play it out when they're trying to sell their products. They use fear tactics. But in the Christian religion, I told her that they yoked the two religions together. And in the Christian religion, they have a term called yoked, and it means, yoked is when you have two animals pulling a cart, and you have one over here and one over here, and you have a device on this one's head or around this one's neck, and a device around the other one's neck, and then they're tied together in the center. And to get the cart moved forward in a straight line, you have both of them pulling in the same direction to get the cart to move in that specific direction, and this is called being evenly yoked. Evenly yoked. Evenly yoked. And this is also the same term that you may hear when you in the Christian atmosphere, when they're talking about being married, for a man and a woman to be married. And I was once married to a Christian myself, and I heard that term. You all are not evenly yoked, meaning that she pulling one way and I'm pulling the other way. And how can we hold a family together and we pull in two different directions or two different ways? It's as if this person here is pulling that way, and this person here is pulling that way, and what's being pulled is the weight right here, or the family, and how are we going to manage that? We may move forward, but it won't be efficient, meaning that it's going to be it's harder to pull the cart when you have two different strengths pulling in opposite directions, or not in the same direction at the same time. You won't be able to go in a straight line. All right. And she asked me, do you have anything written down? And one of the things I'm going to have to do to help understand this concept from a Christian point of view is I'm going to have to explain Jesus. In Islam, he's known as Isa, the son of Mary, Ibn Maryam, the son of Mary. And for me it's clear, you know. But they had put signs in the land, and one of the signs they put in the land is a key. Actually, it's a key, and it's you see it around Easter. It'd be this shape here, and it would say, "He is risen." That's what it would say on the sign. And you see it many times in many different places. Maybe not every Christian, but actually I think this is a Catholic device. Actually I do. Because the Catholics are the ones who were responsible for financing the trips from England. I think it was England or Europe or from over in that area over there. They was the one who financed the initial building of this place. And so they had a certain knowledge. And at that time also, the Christian was giving them trouble. They was complaining about their policies or their ethics, or why they do things, such as or how they do things, also why. And they was labeled as the Protestants, you know. So they sent the complainers over here, those who was complaining, and that's where their name come from, Protestant, because they were protesting, you know, about the Catholics, and they broke off from the Catholics, the Catholic religion, you know. And I don't think this is the first time in history that this has been going on. It's just, you know, that's internal of their religion, you know. All right, but here you see, he is risen. And I was looking at that, and I was looking at that, and I was looking at that. I said, why would they write that? Because that's grammatically incorrect. You know, if you're gonna if you're writing a paper or something, you won't say he is risen. You would say he has risen, or you may say he is rising. You know, it's like two statements. You have he, you have has, you have risen, but in this one statement here, there's one. You have he is rising. So what they did, they took the two statements. If you take these two statements, this is one statement, this is another statement, one statement, one statement. If you put these two statements together, you write it out, he is risen. Now, for those who don't have the key, this is the key. For those who do not have the key or understand the key, they don't have the understanding, or they may not have the understanding, that this is a combination. This is two statements at one time. He has risen, he is rising. They combine the two sentences, he is risen. And this is where they come from. This is derived from this, which comes from this. You know, this is actually a way of stating two statements with in one. So it doesn't make sense. You know, the person, like the school teacher, if you write this in one of your papers trying to describe something, then she gonna mark it off, say this is not grammatically, it's not correct. It doesn't make sense. You know, you will get a bad grade if you use this when you write it. But for those who are in the know, you see this. This is why they put it out there. And you see it stuck in the ground in the front of their house like that. He is risen. You know, and it's white. They know what it means. They're saying, hey, this is two, or they may know what it means, because you know a lot of people they pick up ideas that they don't have a full understanding, or they may think they have full understanding, but they may not have full understanding. But they pick up ideas or concepts such as a fad. You know, I think this look good on my head. You know, I'm gonna put this up on my head because I think it looks good. And people see it, I'm like, man, you're using it wrong. It's not designed to put on your head. But this, he is risen, and you'll see it in the public, especially around here, because this is it's more Christians here than many places. I put it like that. But this is derived from two sentences. He has risen, he is rising. And I think about it, I was thinking about why would they put that out there? And then they also, around Easter, this is tied to Jesus himself. And during that time, this is around Easter, and his story, at the end of his story, he's coming out of the grave. They thought they killed him, and everybody thought he was dead. And as a matter of fact, they even say that he died and came back to life. This is the story about Jesus. And in that story, they say he is risen. Or more proper is he has risen. And some people, they will actually correct it now. Because we don't want to be grammatically incorrect. But if they start correcting this, it shows that they really don't have an understanding of what happened or why this came to be. This is actually two statements at one time. This is two statements yoked together. They yoked these two together to pull this cart. It's pulling this cart. And I said to myself, why did they put that out there? And why is it tied to Jesus? Because it's doing this. This is their most sacred holiday. This is bigger than the Easter. Than the Christmas holiday. This is the core kernel of their religion, more so than Christmas. Christmas is given to us as the birth. That's his birth. But this is Easter. This is when he's coming out of the grave. This is a real serious concept within the Christian religion and Catholic religion. And I have grown to have a new respect for the Catholics. I take my hat off to them. Because not everybody built up a whole nation that's going to be an adversary or possible adversary to their own hierarchy. People don't do that. Those who are established, they don't do that. They don't grow somebody else up to compete, for the power of the world, so to speak. But those guys did that. I take my hat off to them. I don't agree with everything that they did, but they still did it, as far as how they did it. All right, but let me break it down. And say, okay, well, this is a key. This is a key. Understanding this and where it comes from is a key. Is a key to what? Me, I'm Muslim. I profess to be Muslim. I took the Shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Those are two statements too. And that's the declaration of a Muslim when he professed Islam. So I'm Muslim. No matter how much Christian music you may hear me listening to, and no matter how much I may sound like I favor the Christians, or how much I may say, hey, I really admire the Catholics, or I even like the Jewish religion also. Well, they're the one that built that pyramid and all of that. There's a lot of knowledge in that also. And no matter how much highly you hear me talking about the other guys, bottom line, I'm Muslim. I follow the Prophet. And when we say the Prophet, or we say the Prophet's name, I'm referring to Prophet Muhammad, we say, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, may Allah's prayers be upon the Prophet and peace. Alhamdulillah. All right, so I'm letting you know, hey, I'm Muslim, but by studying what the Prophet received, it opens things up, and I see things that some don't see. So, and also I'm a student of Imam Warith bin Muhammad, so I didn't come across this type of thinking all by myself. But let me cut through the chase, so I won't be long. I'm gonna leave this up here, and I'll leave that up there too if I may. But there's a problem between Islam and Christianity in the shirk, meaning that in Islam is you don't worship any other God but one God. It is only one. There is only one, and there's no deviating from that. Everything in Islam follows behind that concept, but when a Muslim look at the expression of the Christian, when they say that Jesus is the Son of God, and many people throughout history have used that to say that, our religion is personally tied to God by the blood. And they say it's by the blood of Christ. And some people don't know what that means. Some others do know what it means. But that's that. That's their religion as far as how they express that. But there's a disagreement. Matter of fact, a disagreement even amongst the Christians or amongst just a general person when they come across the Christian terminology or the expression Son of God. And you look at that and say, oh, okay. So what does this have to do with this? Right. Well, for me, in the way I see it, the way that I think, and what I have grown to into as far as being mature and been studying behind Imam Muhammad, I see things different, what have brought me into seeing this. So I'm like, man, this is not necessarily something that's down on the ground teaching or down on the ground statement. This is something that should be understood, not something that should be taken and worn as an ornament. It's something that should be understood. And there's a strong possibility that this is two statements in one. And this is in the Quran too. Man, that's deep. All right. And if you look at this, throughout religious life, there's a struggle between two things. One of them is being a son of man. This ties you to your flesh. This is important for many. Matter of fact, it's important to everybody. But also, when you doing your work in your work of God, you become a servant of God. You become a servant of God. And I'm pretty sure throughout the ages, this is a problem, not problem like it gets you in trouble problem, but which is more important, being the Son of Man or a servant of God? Because even though, when servant of God, you give off your material items. I don't need all that money to survive. I don't need all the comforts of the world to survive. I'm not a worldly man. I'm a servant of God. And with that comes a certain spirit. But also, people who's regular Joe Blow say, man, you ain't just gonna kill me off. I'm a human just like every other human. That's important for me to remain human. I'm not an angel. I'm not something that's not real. So I'm a real person. And the dilemma is which is more important. Well, they say, well, both of them are equally important. Really. But Jesus, his importance leans more so. His importance leans more so being a servant of God, not necessarily a son of man. So what they did, and this is me. So you can't take this to their religious establishment and tell them this is what that means. They easily reject you. Well, who told you that? Well, he don't run around up in here, so that dude don't have no valid foothold on our religion. But this helps me. So when I hear this being spoken, I don't get upset anymore, because in my mind, this is where they got that from. They took Son of Man and Servant of God, and they put them together. Son of God. God. This is two statements in one. This, he is risen, is two statements in one. It's like, oh. And for a long time, I'm in my 50s, for a long time, I had a problem with this. I said, man, how you going to be talking like that? And, we done went through slavery and all this, and the civil rights struggle, and Jim Crow, and all that stuff, and we trying to get fair treatment in the public, and all this stuff. And they use They use, this religious concept, but it's used, when it's used, they also accompany it with a picture that's insulting to those who don't look like that picture. And also should be insulting to the ones who do look like that picture. You got people running around here thinking I'm tied to God one way or another, physically like that. I ain't your God. Don't be putting all your burdens on me, talking about I'm your main problem. You need to step up. If you're gonna compete, step up your game. And just because my game is helped from the planning way back when this place first got started, I didn't build this place. That's the Caucasians that's probably have that argument. So it causes problems. So it can cause problems, and it caused problems in me. It just took Christianity out of my selection as a religion when I was a young man. I said, man, it's an insult. It's an insult. So I said, no, that ain't for me. I don't understand it. And they said, Jesus is the Son of God. He's the Son of God. But now I'm a little older, got a little study behind me, and not necessarily a book study like I go to class, not like that. I learn how to think for myself. I use my intelligence, and I see their intelligence. They took two statements, and this is nothing but mathematics. Pretty much, this is mathematics. This is 1 plus 1 equals 2. This is 2. It's two statements. Two statements and one phrase. Wow. And this is what they did when they built this place. And I'm going to show you one of the signs. And I don't want nobody, so if you show somebody this tape who's not open-minded, I'm not trying to insult any of the Christians or the Jewish people or the Catholics, not trying to insult them, nor am I trying to say I'm not with the Muslims anymore. I'm not doing that. I'm straight up, I'm a follower of the Prophet. And we say, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I'm also a student of Imam Muhammad. And may Allah be pleased with him. All right. But this is pretty much, this is just plain old arithmetic. And when you start using, just to help you, whoever may see this, and this is for Christina, all these numbers, these numbers are designed by Muslims. This is Islam. All of this Islam. That's Islam, to be quite frank. Then all that mathematics, from arithmetic all the way up to calculus, 2, 3? That's the highest math in the land. Calculus. That's how they calculate how to get up in space. They just had someone going up in space, though. And all mathematics. And they had to calculate the trajectory and all that stuff. All right. Now, I showed you this as far as how they combine the two. And this is combined from using a Christian description of being yoked. They yoked these two phrases together to carry an idea. They yoked these two phrases. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 1 plus 1 equals 2. This is two statements in one. And you see it in the building of words. They call them compound words. All right? They take two words, put them together. Well, here's one right here. They have two words, can, not. That's two words. That's can plus not, and they come up with cannot. That's two words. Now, just to be quick, because I don't want to be talking long, and I really don't want to offend anyone who just may happen to see this other than Christina, whether she gave it to you or you tapped in to what I put out there on YouTube or whatever. I am not trying to offend anyone as to the quality of their religion or their understanding of their own religion, nor am I trying to say, you Muslims are, you need to wise up, because this is the Christian religion. I'm not, no. But the people who built this place, they use that concept They put two words together, and this is where that word comes from. They put this and they put these guys they put those guys together. Christian and the Muslims together. They built this place. These guys are into language, you know, and their language is built up around Christ. He's the center of their religion. You know, this is where they get all that color red from, and they get the heart, the shape of the heart. You know, their religion is based around the heart. This, you know, and it's also based around language. Language. You know, and you have a compound. They took Christ and they took the Muslim. Description, and they put it together and they come up with a word. This is their religion. This is one of the keys that hold their religion together. This right here. This is where that word comes from. Now don't go telling them this is where that word comes from in Akram. No. Even if you show them the video, show them enough where I'm sitting there telling you this is how I see things. And we are put on this planet, in this country, so that we may live together. And that's why all these people from all around the world is coming here. And this is what the prophet did. He united all those people over there in his land during his time. You know, but they was really competing over there. So what they did, they combined two religions, and this is where that word comes from. And then you say, well, okay, why would they do that? You know, what else can you see in our holiday, meaning if you're a Christian, talking about their holiday Christmas? And what also go along with it, and I said that all of these numbers, 1 through 9 and 0, or 1 through 10, those are Islam. Muslims design those. And it all goes back to family. Most of Christians, their religion is designed to hold together the family. And it goes back to that concept of being yoked. You know, and in their concept, it's best for the family to gel together, to stay together, and that the mother and father is pulling in the same direction. All right, but here's Islam. This is Islam concept of their concept being yoked. This 6 and this 5. These are two numerals. All right, and just to cut it short, because I know I'm taking up time. This 6 is actually, it represents, and I do another video as far as why this represents. It represents fatherhood, and this is why Father's Day is in June, because it's the 6th month. And then the 5, actually, it really goes back to language, you know. And this is Islam. If you're Muslim, you say, oh well, yeah, you know, that's Moses. You know, and also, oh yeah, that's Adam. You know, those guys come up. And then you say, oh, okay, that's Aaron right there. This is 5. And Aaron was the one that had the polished language. You know, and this is the mother. That's why Mother's Day is in May. You know, if you want your children to speak Spanish, you marry a woman that speaks Spanish. You know, she gonna teach them Spanish. You know, if you want your children to speak Arabic, marry a woman who speaks Arabic. She gonna use her language. They gonna speak Arabic. You know, and that's for any language. If you want a woman, if you want a child to speak any one of those languages that you can come up with, you marry a woman, have children by that woman, and let her raise your child. She gonna teach that child her language. You know. Now, this goes back to fatherhood. This goes back to motherhood. Imam Muhammad, and may Allah be pleased with him, forgive him his sins, and grant him paradise and have mercy on him. He said that if you want to perfect a thing, if you want to perfect your fatherhood, you take it and you multiply it by itself. You square it, you know. And then he said if you want to perfect motherhood, you multiply it into itself. So pretty much you square it, you know. And now it's coming up the mathematical function. You know, you have 6 squared and 5 squared. And this is really perfect your fatherhood, really perfect your motherhood. And these are the keys that's used to survive in this society that was designed by the designers way back then. And you do the math. Alright? We start with this one. 5 squared equals, well, 5 times 5 equals, no, it's coming, it's clearing it up. It's coming clear. And then what's this one? Now, instead of using the exponent type of use to solve this problem, we're going to have to step it up a notch. We're going to go to the highest mathematical usage in the land. We got to go to calculus to settle this one here. Because if you just use the same way we solve this problem, if we use it to solve this problem, we're going to come up with 36. And 36 is the number is too big. We need something that's smaller, something that will fit more in our society. So we're going to reach up, we're going to use calculus to solve this problem. And in calculus, there is a function called the derivative. And the derivative is when you have an exponent, you have a base and an exponent, you take the derivative, and when you take the derivative of 6 squared, you get 12. You know, and once you add these two together, you get 12, 25. And they used these guys, holiday, but they used Islam to calculate where it should be placed. And I think if you look back in history, I think this date had changed, you know, and I don't know how far back. I think 1210, something like that, you know, was when it used to be on that date or whatever. But you know, we know the Christmas holiday, they have a lot of things added. They have Santa Claus and the gift giving and all these things. But really, this is a sign. It's not necessarily a date. What it is a key. It's a key. Same key. Same key to help those who understand the key to keep focus on what's important. Perfect your fatherhood. Perfect your motherhood. This is what that is saying. You stay focused on the more important things. You know, and when you're building a family, you know, man, you out there, you just want to be a single person. You know, you do what you want to do, that's fine. You know, there's some help for that. You know, but the bigger help, if you want to be more successful in the things that you are striving for, you want to get help from the big boys, you know, even these big boys too. You want to get help. Matter of fact, in Islam, there's a time in your life or your development where you hold this thing on your own. Your help goes straight to God, you know. And I'm gonna finish this off where in the Quran it reads in chapter 18, it says, do the unbelievers think that they can take my servants as their protectors? You know, you read that, it stand you up. You take more responsibility of your own condition. And no matter what the big boys say, what they say or don't say. And, you know, you say, hey, it ain't going down like that, it's going down like this here. You know, with my help, you shoot past the big boys. You shoot to who they drawing help from they drawing help from God. You draw help from God too, you know. And inshallah, what I've said hadn't offended anyone. But I tell you what I know, how I think right now, man, the heavens has opened up, and I get help, especially coming from the big boys in this religion. You know, even lately, nowadays, I get more help from them than I do my own community. Because my situation flipped. It flipped. In the numbering scheme, that's a whole, I'm going to hold that one. You know, these things, they change. They flip. You know. But inshallah, I wasn't offensive. I wasn't trying to be offensive. And if it bothers you, just don't watch the video of me. You know. And, you know, inshallah, it didn't. Hopefully it'll help you. Especially if you're a parent. You know. Yeah, inshallah. Right, but I want to give the greetings. Assalamu alaikum. And thank you for watching. And Christina, hey, baby, thank you for asking the question. Assalamu alaikum.